With over 9 million coronavirus cases and hundreds of thousands of deaths worldwide, it's a race against time to find a vaccine. South Africa will now begin testing a vaccine manufactured at the University of Oxford in the UK. The first patient will be vaccinated tomorrow. As South Africa reaches the over 100,000 infections mark, we catch up with these patients here. Speaking exclusively to SABC News, they're being readied to participate in the first steps to saving lives in the country, the continent and the world.
It's a very serious thing. All of us, let us contribute and participate on this. I'm very happy today, even myself, to come here and contribute and participate on this. COVID-19 is for everybody to be concerned about this.
We also caught up with the principal investigator for the vaccine trial at Chriselda Lewis Hospital.
This study in particular is what we call a placebo control study. So even though we are enrolling 2,000 participants, only half of them will get the real vaccine. We reiterate this when we enroll patients, but on the day as well, we will reiterate with them. Look, now you can get the real vaccine or you can get placebo, but you will not know what you're receiving. Okay. So the vaccine would come in a 1 milliliter syringe like this, which is prepared in the pharmacy, so this is empty. And then when we do vaccine trials in adults, we use the non-dominant deltoid to administer the vaccine. Because vaccines do have side effects, you can pretty well get a sore arm or feel a little bit unwell, and then we don't want to impair your arm's functionality. So we would ask the patient to just show their deltoid. We would wear gloves. This particular vaccine we are testing is a genetically modified organism, so we need to be careful when we're working with the vaccine. So we would first clean the spot nicely, and then, I'm not going to take off the needle, but we would stabilize the arm. We would inject slowly the entire volume of the vaccine, taking sure we don't have any accidental spillage. We would remove our needle. We just dab with cotton, you can just hold there for me. And then importantly, what we need to do here is we need to put a plaster, because like I said, this is a genetically modified organism.
The trial will start off with the first group, who are people without HIV, that will receive 2 doses of the vaccine spaced 4 weeks apart.
This is basically to do an intensive analysis in terms of the safety of the vaccine, as well as in terms of its immunogenicity. Over the course of the next week or so, we will then start with group 2, which is a larger group of 1,900 individuals. And this particular group, at this stage, we're planning on giving a single dose of vaccine. But depending on the data that comes from the Oxford study, where 2-dose schedule is currently being evaluated, we might or might not decide to actually include a second dose of the vaccine. This particular group is probably the most important group because it gives us a greater window of insight in terms of the safety of the vaccine, as well as whether this vaccine actually protects against COVID-19. So in this particular group, we're evaluating for vaccine efficacy. Last but not least is after group 1 has been completed, we will then embark on a small study in people living with HIV, really to see how they actually respond to the vaccine given 2 doses spaced 1 month apart. All of these participants will be followed up for 12 months, including having calls every 2 weeks to assess for respiratory illness. And if they do have symptoms, they will be investigated for COVID-19. In addition to which, throughout the 12-month period, all of them will be evaluated for safety in terms of any sort of adverse events that might occur.
Scientists say of concern now is vaccine nationalism.
Vaccine production is being ring-fenced for particular countries. And obviously the richer countries and the richer areas are trying to say, my country first and all my citizens first. So there's a very, very important global dialogue now going on about vaccine access, which says, actually, if we develop vaccines, these need to be available to all citizens of the world. There might and will have to be prioritization because the amount of vaccine available to begin with will be limited. And we might have to think about groups such as healthcare workers first. But what we are arguing is that it cannot be my country and my country only first.
This is one of 3 vaccine trials that will start this year. Very soon on that, we hope the AD26 J&J program will start, as well as an AD5 program that we're collaborating with people from Los Angeles.
On when it will be known whether the vaccine works or not is dependent on how quickly they accrue individuals who would have gotten infected with COVID-19. Chriselda Lewis, SABC News in Johannesburg.